Checking. Hello, welcome back to the Frostbite channel. Your boy Justin here once again, back in the way up north out on Baker Lake. In the last video that I put up on the Frostbite channel, was doing some sight fishing in super shallow water. I did miss on a super nice lake trout, and I swore redemption for that video. I did almost go out for that redemption today and do another sight fishing video, but it's a little overcasty and I want all the conditions to be perfect so we can get redemption. So instead, we're doing something pretty cool still. We're fishing a super steep drop-off in fairly shallow water with Garmin Panoptix live scope. As you can see here, there is a healthy slope dropping from about 15 to looks like around 30-ish. Today, for some reason, Mother Nature blessed us with a fairly mild day. It's pretty blistery outside, still quite flippin' windy as it usually is, but it is definitely not as cold as it's been. So for any of you who know me and have seen videos that I have created in the past, you're gonna know exactly which rod and which lure I'm gonna be starting out with. First up, our big boy 100mm tantrum in a new color by Frostbite. Once again, the name is eluding me. I will edit the name of the color into this video. And of course, for the rod, camera won't focus, but 46 extra heavy slugger. And we got other things that we're gonna dink around with, but for now, this is what we'll do. I just love these big rattle baits. They're just so loud and obnoxious that fish from far and wide will be hearing this and seeing the disturbance that it makes. It has an incredible tail wagging action and rattle that fish cannot resist. So let us get that down. Sheesh. Man, my knees. I'm only 30 years old. I feel like I'm 1,000. I wonder how my knees are gonna feel when I'm actually 1,000. There's our lure going down. We may have to tweak the Panoptix pole a little bit just to get that perfect image. Yep. Like I was mentioning, there is quite a freaking drop off here, which will be far more evident as we turn the pole. There we go. Wow. Look at that drop, boy. It's like into 40. I spared you the pain and agony of having to watch me do some lame intro that nobody gives a shirt about. Unless I'm not, well, fish up high, that looks like a big freaking mark. It like, check this out, it's chasing. That looks like a big mark. Oh, got him. Oh, I pulled it out of his mouth. Come on, back to back fish. I've pulled this flipping bait out of his mouth. I didn't get a good hook set on the first hook set. I didn't. That was a big mark. Oh my goodness. Once again, if you watch my videos, you'll always hear me preaching about fishing the whole water column, and that fish was like right at the top. Like it came from like 2 feet under the ice. As if I pulled that out of his freaking mouth. That's literally 2 nice fish, what I assume was a nice fish here, in a row, back-to-back days fishing that I've pulled the bait out of its mouth after it's already eaten it. I may have to edit this out or else the boys at Frostbite might fire me. So in the comments of a previous video, somebody was telling me my color scheme was garbage. Oh, I like that. No, stupid. That's the one. Yo, that's way nicer. Y'all were right. So this live scope technology is just incredible. It's like if you were to relate it to real life and how life has 3 dimensions compared to fish finder dimensions, this is like the 4th dimension, which I think is time. So live scope is time, and time is money, and live scope is expensive. You heard it here first. But even though it's expensive technology, boy, is it worth it. It is just so freaking cool to see a fish swim in. Even exciting if they come, bite your rattle bait, and you pull it out of their mouth, like I seem to always do. So you might notice the rattle bait kind of going in and out of focus on the Panoptix, and that's because this bait does a little, I don't know what you'd call this, like darting type sideways action. So it's kind of going in and out of the beam, but regardless, it's just so effing cool. Even if you lose your bait in deep water occasionally, it's like risk and reward here. It's so effing fun. And as you can see, the higher up in the water column you go, the more clear of a picture you're gonna get. It's not to say that your old traditional 2D sonar and flasher units are garbage now. There's different applications for all of this stuff. I certainly wouldn't want to be running and gunning from hole to hole with this big rig of a unit. There's a big black box that you need to run the live scope along with the fish finder screen, which is quite heavy, along with this wizard staff that you need to stick the transducer on. So I mean, you could do it definitely with the live scope. It's just not going to be as efficient. So there's still a place for all your sonars, and any sonar is better than no sonar, but sonar is almost necessary in almost all applications. So go out and buy a sonar. You'd think I'm advertising for fish finder companies and not Frostbite. Oh, fish coming, fish coming. I was just going to switch to the Dragon Slayer. Big fish, big fish, big fish coming. I think so anyways. Oh, it's interested. Come on. Damn, he did not want anything to do with that. I feel like these fish might be a little bit skittish, I guess you could say. We've just come off like a week straight of like super brutal weather, and now it's warmed up all of a sudden. Now, I don't know what that has to do with atmospheric pressure and all that extra weird stuff that people pay a lot of attention to. But if there's anything that I've noticed from my time lake trout fishing, and I've done a lot of it over the last 2 years, is that regardless of any sort of weather condition, the most important thing for lake trout to be as active as possible is stable weather. Whether that be stable cold, stable warm in the spring kind of deal, just stable. And I find that as the more days in a row that go on of the same kind of weather, the more active lake trout get. That does have its limits in the dead of winter when lake trout really slow down. But as a general rule, stability in the weather is very crucial for active lake trout. You'll still get bites no matter what, but just the sheer number of fish and the aggression in which those fish show seems to be impacted quite a bit by stable weather. Keep in mind, all these hot tips that I spit at y'all are always founded strictly by bro science and just personal experiences, and there may be people out there with far more experience than me that might find completely different results in their experimentation, but I'm just a bro scientist out here trying to get it. So I'm gonna reel up that rattle bait because I think we need something a little more subtle. And that subtle change, we're sliding with the, come on, Dragon Slayer. I got that on about a, I don't think 3/8 ounce jig head. Nice long shank on it so you can get that hook far back. This is the bait I've caught my biggest lake trout through the ice on. Lots of confidence in this bait. Super versatile, as I always mention when I talk about the Dragon Slayer. Hopefully I can get this positioned properly. But big rips. You can see it's darting around, and with little subtle flicks of the rod tip, that little tail is just getting it done. Oh, forgot to mention, rod, I'm going to be throwing that Dragon Slayer on. 39-inch medium heavy deadbolt. New rod by Frostbite. I believe I used it in my last video as well. It's a fiberglass rod, so it has insane durability. Like, you can bend this thing right over. 39-inch series of rods are made with jaw jackers and those automatic hook setting devices in mind, but they also are just super nice all around lake trout rods. Should mention we're about, I don't know, let's look. Right there is the shack set up still from the last video. So we're like 15 feet away. Where we were fishing in that sight fishing video, it was like 4 feet, and here we are in 25, right where we sit. So just kind of shows how incredible this drop off is. And we sure do love incredible drop offs. Well, I think we'd be crazy not to chum. I think I'm gonna chum some Cisco meat down the hole. The spot's kind of hard to chum. Oh, these stink. Oh boy, I think I left these out a little too long. Oh well. Catch and Cook knife. Get you one at catchandcook.net. I don't know why Catch and Cook decided to go with .net. I didn't even know .net was a thing anymore. But catchandcook.net, along with the best batter in the business. Also, big shout out to our boy Jay Siemens, who just reached 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. It's about time the best videographer in the business got the recognition he deserved. I seriously do think he'd have so many more subscribers if he would just take that stupid look off his face, but I think he might be stuck with it, to be totally honest with you. But nonetheless, congrats, Jay. Next stop, 1 million, boy. Typically, when, are you kidding me? I was just about to say, typically, a fish will show up when I start to get coffee, and as I was doing that, here comes a fish. Oh my goodness. Like, how does that keep happening? It looks like a good-sized fish, too. It's like literally every time. If you've watched any of my videos on my channel, I bet you 75% of the time I go to get coffee, a fish shows up, and that literally just happened again. I think there might be 2. Look at that. Look at how cool that is. You can see like the body shape. Where did he go? No. Where'd he go? Man, these fish are being real sucky boys today. Holy. Oh, fish, fish, fish. Seems like these fish want absolutely nothing to do with any bait that's moving. I was just checking a text that I received, which I should just turn my effing phone off completely, and a fish came and checked it out. Similarly to when I went to get coffee, the rod was just chilling, and a fish came and showed interest. So it seems like these fish are only showing any sort of interest in a completely still bait. Oh, look at this. As soon as it's dead stick, there's fish. But as soon as I move it, see if I can just bop it on the spot. There's one on the bottom, just to the right. A few on the bottom, just to the right. So this is one of those moments where I'm really hoping the finesse little paddle tail of the Dragon Slayer is going to come through. I'm just barely moving the rod. Let's see if we can get this guy chasing. Not at all. Like, the fish disappear as soon as the lure's moving. Like I said earlier, from my experience personally in the north here especially, stable weather is the #1 thing that dictates whether fish are going to be active or not. And this is like an incredible warm front out of nowhere. Went from like minus 45 Celsius to, I think at one point it was like minus 10. So like upwards of 30 degrees Celsius difference in a matter of days. And we are on day 2 of the warm front, so we're struggling. Oh, here comes the fish. Fish, 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 fish. Oh, come on. This one's excitable. Oh, just bumped it. This one's gonna bite. No, come back, dude. Look at that. Look at how cool that shows up on the Panoptix. Please, bro. No. Yeah, come on. You want that, boy. You want it. You know you do. Look at that. As soon as I move the bait, just turns away. We'll try to hit him with that finesse. The flick of the wrist.
Look at the flick of that wrist. Look at the flick of that wrist. Look at the flick of that wrist. Look at the flick of that wrist. Look at the flick of that wrist.
God. Oh, finally. Oh, not bad. Not bad at all, actually. Super skinny. Wow, that didn't fight hard at all. Okay, well, we finally got a fish. It's a pretty long fish, but like, this fish literally looks like it's gonna die any minute. I don't think I've ever seen a lake trout so skinny and unwell. Yuck. I don't know why that fish is like this, but I'm gonna get it back right away. Still fired up. Okay, well, there's a start. It only took like 3 hours to get a fish. That fish has been missing meals for quite a long time. I don't know what is wrong with it, but that was probably the most like emaciated fish of any species I've ever seen in my life. Ugh. It even stinks. Like, I don't like the smell. That was like a 4-pound, almost 30-inch fish. Oh, I want to wash my hands. Oh, I think there might be another fish coming. Here comes a fish from the bottom right. Much more excitable. Oh yeah, this one, oh my goodness, that looks like a big mark too. There's definitely fish in the area. They're just so skittish. Like, if they're all looking like that fish that we just caught, then like they're probably eating like twice a year. That was disgusting how skinny that was. Oh no, head cam's not even on. Oh no, there's a fish down there and the head cam's not on. Oh well. Okay. Oh, jeez. I wasn't ready for that. No head cam, no head cam, no head cam. Boo. That's not good. Oh, jeez. What is going on here? What part of this lure is this fish biting on? It's basically all hooks. Got it. No head cam. Okay. This might be a nice one. Nice-ish. Oh, that's a nice fish. Oh, he's up the hole backwards somehow. Oh, man, another grossly skinny one. What is going on here? No head cam footage, but like, check that guy out. That's like another long but disgustingly skinny fish. I'm not sure what's up with these fish, but they are gnarly. I've never seen fish in this lake like that. And that's like 2 in a row all of a sudden. Man, that was ugly. No head cam footage, nothing. So we've gone like 3 hours now without catching a single fish. So very often with lake trout fishing, you'll get like little periods of action. There's no doubt that lake trout just kind of swim around in schools. Or look at another one. As I was saying, you'll get flurries of action because lake trout swim in schools, but like never this sudden of a change in interest of these fish. Like, did they just decide they're off their diet now? Here comes. They just fell off the Weight Watchers wagon all at once just now. Good work with your weight loss goals, but it's time to get fed. Like I've mentioned, changing weather conditions screws these guys up super badly. And I guess maybe the windows of opportunity are shorter and fewer, but we're finally getting into some fish now. Okay, let's try to hit them with the chartreuse dragon slayer. I am certainly not a fan of chartreuse, but I'm getting desperate at this point. Oh, fish on the bottom. I was just reeling up to check the column, and a fish showed up cruising right along the bottom. Now that's happened several times before and nothing came of it. Got one right off the bottom. Wow. I was literally sitting the dragon slayer right on the bottom, like basically dead sticking it, and this fish just picked it up. Wow, he didn't even fight at all right until he got up to the hole, as they so often do. It's not a bad one. Not a bad fish at all. Weird. Okay, so I think we just put a little bit of data together here. I had that, it was probably hard to see because of the dead spot, because of the because of the slope, the bottom. But I had that dragon slayer just like inches off the bottom, barely bopping it on the spot, and this fish just crushed it. He didn't crush it. That's not the right word to use. What this fish did was just barely pick it up. So these fish are clearly just cruising right across the bottom. Man, that fish came up so fast. Now he's just scrapping. That's a nice one. That's a really nice one. Wow. Not a skinny little freak like the other ones. There he is. Not a bad one at all. Couldn't be hooked more perfectly. I don't know where the dragon slayer went, but it is gone. But hey, check that beauty out. It's definitely the fattest fish of the day. Maybe the longest too. Awesome. Okay, well, I think we're onto something here. Let's get this guy back. Spunky boy. So basically what we did there was just change the way we were fishing, slowed it right down. I had the dragon slayer tipped with some Cisco belly, just sitting like inches off the bottom, and that fish just sucked it in. I didn't even see it on the Panoptix. I just felt the bite. So let's get another dragon slayer down there, and I'm going to stick another big long slice of Cisco belly on. There it is right there. Might seem excessive. Huge long piece of Cisco, but I got the job done. So let's see if we can't replicate that. And if we can, I'm gonna say we put ourselves a pattern together. And that's what this is all about. Figuring things out. When these lake trout are slow, how to trick them into eating. So we have that right on the bottom. And like literally what I was doing was almost touching bottom and just barely bouncing it off the bottom. Probably like an inch or two off the bottom, really. Oh, there's a fish. I just lifted it up for a quick second. Let's see if this fish will eat this barely moving dragon slayer. Another one. Wow, okay. We are on to something. Fellas and ladies, this is a dink. Total dink. All right, there it is. An actual dink, but once again, just a dead stick dragon slayer with a big chunk of Cisco meat, just barely moved off the bottom. These fish are so freaking lethargic. I don't think I've ever seen fish in Baker Lake this slow. Okay, let's get that back down. Okay, that's 2 back to back. Let us see if we can get 3. Oh, fish. Got him. Same deal. Right on the bottom with the dragon slayer. Man, I don't think I've ever seen lake trout this skittish, and this is so small. Holy smokes. But as soon as I started bumping it on the bottom, this guy decided to eat yet another dink, but that just goes to show the versatility of the Dragon Slayer. I mean, you can literally almost dead stick it and still get bit when fish are completely inactive. Let's get this little baby boy back. So the sun is starting to creep behind the horizon, and this is what we've been ripping. The little snow globe glow Dragon Slayer with a big slab of Cisco. All right, you guys, I think it's time we pack it in. It's getting pretty dark outside. I'm not gonna lie, it was a pretty tough day on the water today. These fish certainly weren't showing their typical lake trout behavior. Usually these fish are pretty cranked up and hit baits pretty aggressively, but certainly was not the case today. Like I mentioned, in my personal experience, I find that changes in weather really throw these fish off, and I think that's exactly what happened today. But despite that, we were able to put together a little pattern in the face of adversity. Every single fish came on the Dragon Slayer, I don't know why that's not focusing, with a little piece of Cisco meat, inches off bottom, just bopping the little tail. Super finesse. So that just goes to show the finesse capabilities of the Dragon Slayer. You know, we certainly didn't go out and absolutely crank them today like we have in the past, but putting the pieces of the puzzle all together to figure out what's happening below the ice is one of the biggest draws for me for ice fishing, and I think we're able to do that today. So thank you guys all so much for watching. Thanks for tuning in to the Frostbite channel. Once again, it's been a slice. We'll see you again real soon. Peace out.